Hello, welcome back to the Spirit of Change. I'm Susan from Malaysia. Welcome back, Sister Meera, to this show.
Thank you.
Today's topic is change and transformation. Sister Meera, usually when we want to make change, we hope that the change is sustainable and is permanent. But many of times we find that the change is very superficial and is only temporary. And sometimes we use this term transformation and change synonymously. Could you share with us what is the difference between change and transformation?
Yeah, I feel that change is the first, it's the beginning. And as we change, then we get inspired to transform. The difference between change and transformation is change is reversible. Like, for example, you may have a bad habit, but you can change it into a good habit. But then again, if you don't have the right company, if you don't have the right atmosphere, you can go back to the bad habit again. So change is something that can return because it's a cyclic order. But transformation is very deep. Like, for example, if you throw something into the fire, the things get totally transformed. The color of the object, the texture of the object, the quality of the object, everything changes. So that means it is deep transformation where you cannot identify that object anymore what it was before. So that kind of transformation is needed in our world today to make this world a better place.
What are the important things that we need to be aware of or pay full attention it's so that it will be transformed in a very natural way and also forever?
So if I really want to transform, first I need to have realization. Without realization, I cannot have transformation. And what kind of realization I need to have is the realization of my true self. Who am I really? What are my innate qualities eternally? So once I am able to realize and feel those innate qualities in my life, then when I compare to the present life, I feel like this is not mine, it is not innate, it is alien. And that realization of looking at the present life as being alien gives me an opportunity to bring back that original qualities which belongs to me. So realization is a very important step in transformation. Until I realize my true self, my innate qualities, I cannot transform myself. I can superficially change. Maybe I stop getting angry, I stop becoming impatient for a while, but then I don't transform my inner being. And that is what is necessary.
So, Sister Meera, you were mentioning that in order to be able to be transformed, the first step is we need to have realization. But sometimes we don't realize that we have certain attitudes or certain behavior which is not good. So do we have to wait for things to happen then to realize, oh, I have something to be transformed? Or is it something that we can do to activate this transformation so that it's natural?
I think it's both ways, because sometimes certain things happens in life and then after that we realize, yes, now it's time for me to change. I must transform now because it has happened few times and it has caused damage to other people's life and it has brought a lot of loss to my life. That is also one thing. But the second thing is realization through meditation. Because when I have deeper stages of meditation, like meditation has 4 stages, initiation, meditation, concentration and realization. So when I realize my true self and I feel the innate qualities that I am originally peace, I am originally love, I am originally merciful, and then when I have experienced it for some time in meditation, and when I come into my real life, in my interaction, then I can feel that, this kind of being aggressive or, being not soft to people is not my nature. So then I transform myself because I know that this is what I am. So one is realization through meditation, and then also realization on the basis of my experience that enough is enough. Then I create an attitude of unlimited disinterest, a kind of distaste that I don't want to do it again. I had enough of it. So then I transform myself. It both ways.
So you mentioned about through meditation, transformation can happen. It will be a kind of like prevention instead of waiting for things to happen, then only we transform. Could you share a little bit more of how could we get started and where do we get this information like you mentioned about innate qualities? The focus should be on our original innate qualities in order to be able to transform back to that good qualities.
But of course, meditation has deeper experiences. So we need to devote more time. We need to practice certain disciplines in our life so that we can go into the deeper stages of concentration and realization. And by following certain disciplines, certain lifestyle, it helps me to dive deeper. And then my third eye is open and I can see myself. When I say real eye, realization means my real eye opens up and I see clearly this is me, my original self. And in comparing to that, when I come into my real world, I feel all these negativities are alien. So I create feeling of dislikingness for them. It's not mine, So then I'm able to let go of that, transform them for all time. It is just like realization power works like a fire. Sometimes we call in Rajyoga as the fire of yoga. So all the negativities are burnt in that fire with the power of realization. In realization also, there are two types. Some people realize from the head and some realize from the heart. So if you realize from the head, again your transformation will be temporary. But if I realize from the heart, then the transformation is going to be permanent. So that is why knowledge, understanding, wisdom, all these things are ingredients that leads to realization. But the most important thing I feel is that I have to be a seeker and I have to be a student in the life school. And so I keep learning, I keep studying, so that knowledge and wisdom that I accumulate over a period of time helps me to have deeper meditation and gives me the realization to transform for all time.
It's very interesting to find that actually transformation can just happen so naturally. So those who really interested as a beginner, where can we get those knowledge? And as you mentioned, it's a lifelong learning. That means to say, even though now we may have graduated, we still keep learning every day. How could we get access to those knowledge in order to have this transformation?
So if I am always a seeker, I want to learn, as they say, the more wise people realize that how little they know. The more they know, they begin to realize how little they know. So they always seek for more knowledge. So that seeking for knowledge, learning should never ever stop. So once I have that kind of quest to find out the truth, then I will be led, according to my fortune, towards those people, towards that path where I will find the answer.
So that means at the moment, how should we get started? At least the first step, could you share with us in order to start this transformation process rather than waiting for things to happen?
So first, I think what we need to realize is that, there are acquired qualities within us. There are innate qualities. So make a list. What are the acquired qualities you have within yourself which you think it's alien? And what are the innate qualities you think you can connect with them? Like I can mention, there are 7 negative qualities and there are 7 positive traits within us, like peace, love, power, purity, truth, mercy, and bliss. In comparison to that, lust, anger, attachment, greed, ego, fear, and laziness. So keeping the list in front of me, I can ask myself, do I like to get angry, or do I like people who get angry? I don't. Why? I feel it's alien. It's not my nature. And that means peace is my innate quality. So in the same way, for example, attachment, it is a form of love, but then attachment gives me so much sorrow. When a person with whom I have attachment die, I cry, because I have attachment to the body. So it's alien. Life is not meant to be full of sorrow. So in comparison to that, when I think of love, it's natural. A mother loves the child, a teacher loves the student. So then I begin to realize attachment is alien because it made me suffer. Love actually gives me freedom. So in that way, when I begin to understand the comparative study, the positive and the negative, I begin to come close to the positive qualities. And then the next step is to understand how to emerge those qualities that I already have within myself. I don't have to go into the forest. I don't have to go anywhere to look for it. But I just need to concentrate my thoughts on myself. That is like empowering myself. So I am able to emerge those positive qualities and bring it into action. So that is why I need to experiment. If I want to transform, I need to experiment using those positive qualities in my action and then see how my relationship improves. The same person I was interacting with anger yesterday, and now I have realized that anger is alien and peace is my nature. And so now I am interacting with that person in peace, and how our relationship has improved. So then I begin to, I get motivated to go deeper into other negative and positive qualities, and so that realization will come slowly. So that is the beginning, and then once I am able to experiment with the positive qualities and see the result, and the negativities will fade away automatically. So there are 2 types we can use for transformation. One is to burn it in the form of fire, creating that intensity within myself. And the other is to do something good, to erase the bad. That's also transformation. Just like if you have a CD or a cassette, something is recorded already in it, but then you want to erase it. So what you do, you record something better on the top. The old one is already erased, transformed. So that is also another easy way, that I just do something better. I do something more good So the negativity that I have had already, it disappears. And then the practical proof is our interaction, our relationship with ourselves, with others, with the nature improves.
Yeah, it sounds interesting. So usually, how long does it take for one person to transform from negative traits to something which is positive?
It depends on each individual. I cannot just give you some kind of a frame of mind, frame of time. It all depends on your interest to change. Some people, no matter how many times others will tell them, they don't realize that there is need for change. But then the moment I realize, I must feel it's time for me to change. So the duration depends on individuals' interest to transform themselves, the deep desire they have to transform themselves for a better person.
Is there a benchmark or somewhere that we can check whether the transformation is on the right track? Is there any way that any methods that we can check?
So very simple, our relationship is the benchmark, because our relationship with whom we have day and night, they will give you the certificate that this person has changed now. This person has transformed completely. She was not like this before. So intolerant, so impatient. Now she has changed totally. So we get the feedback from the people with whom we live, from the people with whom we work, the people with whom we interact during the day. That's the best benchmark or feedback we get. So we get the confidence. Otherwise, I can give certificate to myself, thinking, I have changed myself. But then when I come into gathering, when I come into working with people, my old, the thoughts and behavior comes out. And then people will remark and say, this person is the same, She goes here, she does this, but she has not changed. No, that kind of remark is not good. So I must get the feedback from the people with whom I'm interacting day and night.
Sometimes because the behavior or the attitude has been formed for a long period of time. And sometimes it's easier to say that we want to change or want to transform. When it comes to doing it in action, it is not easy. So how could we overcome this as and when that this is become habitually?
I think once you have the deep realization, this is not my original innate quality, it's alien, I will not go back. So if it is coming back again, so either there is lack of realization or you have not created a kind of dislikingness towards that behavior. You still want to use that behavior every now and then to protect yourself, So, but if I have really realized, I will have dislikingness. I really want to keep away from that. So I will always use my innate qualities in my interaction. So this shows that lack of realization and lack of dislikingness for the negative traits.
Yes, we know we dislike the negative traits, but I understand that for a change to happen, that we need positive energy. If, let's say, we have been having these negative traits and the energy is low, is there any way we can get help to increase the energy so that the transformation can happen smoothly and in a positive way?
I think a few things we can do in order to do that. First thing is that, we should spend the early hours of morning when we wake up in silence, not come into sound too much. And secondly, read some spiritual books, some words of wisdom that can motivate your intellect. And then thirdly, I should also write a journal, because writing the journal and after that reading the journal, it gives a lot of realization. So then you can change easily. And then, of course, the best thing is, to make sure that whatever I change, I don't do it just to show others. I don't do it just to please others because I want to be totally a different person. I don't want to be the same anymore. So see, these are some of the things we can do. Read something spiritual, write the journal, and sit and, talk to yourself, self-talk. All these things, keeping silence for the first few hours in the morning. All these steps will help me to go into the deep realization, to change myself, to transform myself for good.
So it takes time for a person to be able to totally transform.
No, again, I don't say it takes time. It all depends on person's interest. It all depends on person's aim. But for some, every time they want to give up, but they can't give up. They don't have the willpower. So it's all intensity with which we approach this subject of transformation. So, that is why they say that where there is a will, there is a way.
Thank you, Sister Meera, for the insights on this topic of transformation. It touched me really is that if we really want to transform, firstly, the intensity must have a deep, intense desire wanted to transform. And then secondly, there are some very practical methods, which is to wake up early in the morning and then also read some spiritual knowledge points and keep the journals. This is to help us to reaffirm the objective of why I want to transform, so that I don't get trapped into the old pattern and then either giving myself sorrow or giving others sorrow. And also that there are ways to burn the old habits, and the other one is to replace. That means always do something good in action. By continuing doing it, one day we will see the results. Thank you, Sister Meera, again.
Thank you.
And I hope all of you enjoyed today's topic. And next topic is metamorphosis. Stay tuned with us, the Spirit of Change. Till we see you again, goodbye.